What's happening with Disneyland construction? Great news, actually. All the scaffolding is down at the Treehouse. It's down at Space Mountain as well, but there is another delay at ToonTown. Before we get into that, we've got snow on the castle. There she is, looking pretty great if you ask me. I do love to see snow in the castle. It's the very first early sign of the upcoming holiday season, the Christmas holiday season. You'll note though, they still got a little bit of the 100th decorations on there. The purple banners are still lining the bridge, but pretty much everything else appears to be gone from the 100th decorations. You know, it looks good in the daytime. You know, in this light, I'm very happy to see it, but just wait till they got this thing lit up. Oh, the medallion is still there. We should note that medallion right over the bridge there, that's still there. Although I want to say that there was Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather were present there before. They're gone. That's interesting. But otherwise, I mean, it looks great. I'm really happy to see this. That's why I'm leading off with this little bit, because it's not a big deal. It's something that happens every year, and it's, you know, not a big change or anything. But I love seeing snow on the castle like this. We'll start seeing more Christmas decorations, proper Christmas decorations, after the Halloween season is over. So maybe a few days into November is my best guess. We'll go to ToonTown, check in on Centennial Park. I mentioned delays. It was supposed to open on Monday, but it now looks like they're going to be closed another week. I don't know why that is, but we look for one more week of these construction walls up around Centennial Park. Now, I will say that it looks to be done. Everything looks to be done here. I don't see them working on anything, so it's possible that they want to let it set, which was the reason, I believe, why we had this problem to begin with. They didn't let it set long enough. So that could be the purpose here, is that they just want to give it more time for everything to get right and get firmly set. And on that same day, in a week, they'll open up Centennial Park, and then that same day, or the day after, I think, perhaps, they'll close Goofy's Play Yard, and that'll be down for, I think, another 10 days. By the way, one thing that I will note is that it looks like, yeah, if we slide right on this close-up, you can see that where there was dirt before, they have put concrete down, so that's done. At this point, it feels like we're just waiting for them to restore the fountain and let everything else set, I think. We'll go to Tomorrowland next. I mentioned in the intro that scaffolding is down on the Space Mountain proper, and there you see it is completely gone. All that scaffolding is done. I don't know if it's paint or power washing that they did there, or who knows, but there's a close-up. I mean, it does look wider, I guess, than it did before. I don't think it was paint, though. It had to be pressure washing. There's no way they could have painted that in the amount of time. I mean, it does look a little cleaner, it does look a little better, but I have to wonder if there was more that they were trying to do there. Meanwhile, the scrim is back up where we saw it down last week, where we saw that, what we thought was demo, but it was just them taking down the canopy over that covered area so that they could repaint the steel there. But otherwise, everything here looks like we saw it maybe 2 weeks ago, you know, when the scrim and scaffolding were up. So we still don't know for sure what they're doing out there. But again, I think it's just more paint and polish. I don't expect to see any guest-facing changes to this part of the queue or inside. I was still hoping, though, fingers crossed, that the blue wall at the launch has been on the top of their list of things to do for this refurb. If you're going to close it for as long as they have, for a month, they better have fixed that. We got a week to go on this. Another week has gone by, and the alien UFO type deal there is still behind construction walls where the DVC kiosk is. Have no idea what they're doing on that. So we'll go to Adventureland, take a quick drive-by at the restrooms in Adventureland. That is still a thing. They are still, the rock work that was there before is still being worked on. We can't see anything through the walls. They've well obscured that. I tried looking through the walls there. You can't see anything. But so that the green rock work there is still being worked on. On the way to Adventureland Treehouse, we'll stop at Indiana Jones, which is actually open. Good news today, but it's going down. Indiana Jones is going down for a refurb. It'll be closing on November 27th, Monday the 27th. The refurb calendar, though, is reflecting a reopening date of December 1st, so it looks like it's just a 4-day refurb. Don't expect anything major. This is just one of those routine maintenance periods that Indiana Jones has regularly. So with that, let's go to Adventureland Treehouse to see what's new there. Nobody working on this visit, and all the scrim and scaffolding is down. I can't see anywhere. What was left was that staircase. That was the last thing they were working on, but you can see here that looks to be finished. And we're just waiting for them, really, I guess, to just kind of button this thing up. I mean, it looks good. It looks like a proper treehouse. We still don't see any movement there in terms of the buckets or the water wheels still, but I'm sure they have already tested that. They're just now waiting to turn it on. We don't have a date, and the refurb calendar does not yet have a reopening date. It is showing as closed all the way through or as far into the future as we can see, and that'll be December 1st as well. I don't think it's going to be that long, though. I don't think it's going to be until December 1st. I feel like they just haven't updated the site. Here's a closer look at the staircase. I mean, it's all there. Everything looks there. You know what I don't see? Do we have a close-up of the daughter's room? Yes, we do. There it is. The daughter's room, I still don't see any sort of thematic elements as depicted in the concept art. I'm not sure if this is done or not, but I mean, I suppose you don't need scrim and scaffold to get that part done, but I'm still not seeing any of the decorative stuff that they were promoting in that concept art. So we're just standing by at this point. I think we're just standing by, just like we're kind of in that same stage we were at Tianas Palace when we saw them vacuuming and tidying things up at Tianas Palace. We're just kind of waiting now for that date. We're waiting for the moment to happen. And I feel like it's pretty close. That happened when we made that observation with the sweeping, etc. It just took a few days to hear from Disney, so I don't think we're that far off. Crossing my fingers anyway. We get on the Columbia. I wish it was the Mark Twain, but unfortunately it's just the Columbia. See if we can't poke our lens into some closer shots. We'll start with the treehouse again. We got a very good view of that real tree. It's really bright out from here. Yeah, I don't see. Wow, this camera is strong, you guys. Man, Grandpa can do work. I love it. I'm just looking for any thematic detail here, but I don't really feel like we're gonna get any. It's just not there. There's just nothing there. We'll slide to the right then, see what's going on at Tianas Palace. I like to check in here to see how the standby is looking, kind of spy on these folks in the queue, which there isn't one at the moment. I don't see any guests coming out of that door right now, so it looks like, I want to say this was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's busy, it's pretty full in the dining area, but there's no queue set up for standby. I don't know what the mobile order situation is on this day, but I know that they sold out at some point yesterday still. We tried to do a mobile order last night on our live stream at like 7:30 and they were gone. But yeah, Mark Twain, by the way, yes, under construction, under refurb, I should say. Last week we saw or could hear them working on some of the flooring. I don't know, how far that project went, but look at this. That's a new, what do they call it, paddle wheel? That's new. That looks completely new. Not refurbished. That, I think they replaced it. Because I remember that thing was pretty, worn looking before. Hello. Okay, back on the ground. We got a long view of the Mark Twain, mostly of scrim. Can't see anything from here. We'll try the mountain, and this looks to be in about the same condition as we left it. It is my understanding that the reason why we've seen a visible escalation in the demo on the mountain is because they have discovered that they needed to demo more. The job has gotten more difficult and more intensive in terms of, this part of the structure than they had anticipated. So it's I don't think it's going to affect timelines. It may affect the budget because they're having to put more people on the job than they might normally had to. That's why we've been seeing a lot of activity here. In areas and doing things that we thought that they were already done doing. It's difficult to say though what the scope is of that escalation, if it's going to be a major deal on the overall process of updating Splash Mountain to Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Just know that it is a thing. I have a feeling that's got to be normal for that to happen, I would think. Not unexpected. It's difficult to plan for everything, I would imagine. But hopefully they're prepared for that. I'll say this. They're going to fix it. They're going to handle it. Whatever it is, they have to. And my gut tells me that they're going to go all in on this. I've been saying that for a few weeks now, and I'm going to keep saying it. My gut is that they're going all in here because they just simply can't afford for this not to work. They just can't. It has to be great, and they got to make sure that it is great. We'll move over to the Hungry Bear to see how things look there. We can still see the squirrel, of course, and whatever it is that they've been doing over there at the little turnaround point, but it's been still difficult. We can't tell. Without being on the Mark Twain, I can't get a good look at what's going on there. This looks to be about as we've left it the past few weeks. Same sheathing, same purple sheathing there in the corner. Status quo on the entrance, the main entrance to Splash Mountain. Status quo on the back side of the structure Although it does look like maybe there's more, is that scaffolding there before? I can't tell. Critter House is still there. The holes in the structure are still there. They haven't grown, but they haven't been fixed either. I feel like something's happening there with that scaffolding though. That's what I feel like. I feel like something is happening there. On our way to ToonTown, let's stop at Small World. This is also an attraction that will be closing soon. And by soon, I mean today, Monday. As you watch this, Small World is closed, but not for any nefarious reasons. As you probably know, they do a Christmas re-theme for Small World, and they have to close the attraction for a week or two to get that done. So it'll be down for a little while, but nothing major. When it reopens, it will be as Small World Holiday. So we're all looking forward to that. I love Small World Holiday. It's one of my favorite things. I wish I could remember and that I could do it more often. I always say this every year that this is the year I'm gonna enjoy Small World a lot more. Hasn't happened yet. Speaking of closures, Astro Orbiter will also be closing for a refurb November 20th. We do not know a reopening date as of yet. Again, the calendar only goes as far as December 1st, which shows that it is still closed on December 1st. We'll stand by for that. No idea what they're doing here, but I would imagine it's just routine maintenance. While we're in Tomorrowland, let's get on the monorail, see what's happening in downtown Disney. Last week we saw grass. I was very excited about the grass. I expect we're going to see more of the same this week. I'm not expecting to see anything dramatic. Well, they took down the scrim there. Okay, well, we get to see a clean backside of the building. Still dirt there in the corner, and still grass and palm trees up there in the middle area of the location. We do have some photos from the Disneyland Hotel from the street team. We'll check those out. There's Din Tai Fung just growing and growing. Every week we come by here, there's a little bit more progress. That's how construction works, as it turns out. They keep constructing, but nothing that I can really point out and say, hey, there's a thing. It just appears to be further along. That's a close-up of the backside. It looks like they're installing a new eave, a rear. They're extending the theming, the sloped theming to the backside of the building. That's interesting. I mean, why not though? But go all the way, I guess. But there you go. Here's a close-up look of the guitar pick stage. We reported last week that they added that Space Mountain-y looking spire there. That is still there, obviously. Breeze blocks are looking good. The concrete has grown. We saw forms previously. Those forms have obviously evolved into a concrete type pattern. It looks almost like a switchback, doesn't it? I wonder what the purpose of that is going to be. We can look at the concept art. Now you can see the sloped nature of that. Are you supposed to walk up there through that? It does look kind of like a queue, right? Doesn't that look like a queue? It's funny. Every time I see something they're doing on the ground, I'm like, that wasn't in the concept art, but yeah, there it is. They're building that right there, along with those breeze blocks. Is that a water feature? Should we be looking for a water feature back there? We'll turn the camera over to the backside of Din Tai Fung and put our eyes on that structure we've been watching them build. Obviously now it is clearly not a building, as we mentioned last week, but just another shade structure and an entrance for guests entering from that side of the lot. And then finally we got this view. This is all the way from the Pixar Place Hotel. Wow, that is a long view of what's happening. Unfortunately, there's not a lot to glean from this perspective. We'll push in, but it's going to get really grainy here. But I don't think we can learn anything from that. But we can see, if we go all the way to that same section that we're just looking at, guests will park in that parking lot. I'm assuming, again, that that's going to be downtown Disney parking, not Pixar Place parking. Pixar Place parking, I guess, is just going to be... Can they fit all the guests in the hotel in that one parking structure? I wonder. But in any case, that's that's where the entrance is going to be. This entrance, I'm assuming, from the concept art. We talked about that last week as well. We're about 9 months, I'd say. Maybe we're less than a year from this thing opening, I think. Just putting that out there. Speaking of parking, we're in the Disneyland Hotel parking lot where the bag check is on that side by the ESPN zone. The length of it is still covered in scrim. You can kind of see through, and there's nothing happening here. Oh yeah, back at downtown Disney, we get a look at the Din Tai Fung building. A lot of crew up there on the roof line there working on that building. Over at the Disneyland Hotel, this is something. Goofy's Kitchen is closed, and it has been for a little while. I don't know what they're doing or when it's going to reopen, but this is the first time I've really actually paid attention to that thing. Whatever that genie is. Does anybody know what this rig does? What does that thing do? Because it's doing this. what are they doing? Are they working on the windows? Because that seems like a lot of rig for just window work. And it's been there for a couple of weeks now, right? It's been a couple of weeks. That's the entrance to Goofy's Kitchen to its left, where that yellow canopy is in the background, the yellow umbrella. I don't know what they're doing. I have no idea. Tango Terrace, Liz did a little drive-by. Everything is complete here. We were there a couple weeks ago, had a lovely time. It looks good, but yeah, this is the last walls and scrim were up along this area. It looks nice. Tango Terrace is really lovely. I just wish they had more options for food, more food options here, because they got to feed a lot of people. This dining location has to feed a lot of people. I don't know how anybody ever gets a table here. And here's another look at that structure of the building, the alternate entrance into the new downtown Disney space. This is taken from, obviously, the Disneyland Hotel. This is about where the Frontier and Adventure Tower meet. There's a close-up look. You gotta love Liz's commitment. I told her, give me a bunch of different shots. Give me all kinds of different options. I may not use them all, but give them to me. So I don't have a purpose for showing this other than to be grateful for my wife for trying really, really hard trying to find things to shoot. Thank you, baby. And then there's this. We haven't reported on this because it didn't seem like much, but all of a sudden, that looks new. That's new. They resurfaced this, right? You remember how this was the way you got into downtown Disney during COVID? Do you remember, guys, how popular this, that parking lot in this area was? Full of guests. Full. The longest queues I've ever seen in my life out here. They've resurfaced that area, I'm guessing, as part of the downtown Disney update. And then it looks like they're doing more. He's painting. That guy right there, he's got a paint roller. So he's painting that surface. Liz took another trip over to the Pixar Place Hotel to see if there was anything new developing there. We mentioned in previous updates that's new pavement there as well. They resurfaced this to make it more Pixar-y. Pixar-y. I think that's a word I just developed or made up. I don't see a lot to report on here. It does, I mean, I'll just say again, I like this. I feel bad for saying it. I shouldn't like it, but I do. Because it doesn't seem like it's for kids. That's all. It's for me. Liz enjoyed this. She thought that these were newly installed, but I told her, well, they may have put more in, but these were there when it opened. But Liz went on an adventure trying to find all the little Pixar characters that have been embossed into the flooring. There's the Pizza Planet truck. That's Boo. I'm guessing that's Lightning McQueen. You can't really tell. It's just a silhouette. They all look the same. And still no mobile. In the atrium out front, I have a feeling that we're not going to get it. Because they were supposed to put a giant Pixar ball right there where that plant is too. There was supposed to be a giant Pixar ball right there. I don't think we're getting that anytime soon either. Oh, she found another one. It's Wally. Wally. Oh, she's running now. She's running to find, oh, that's Hank, I think. That's got to be Hank. She's so cute. She really enjoyed this. Looks like they're still working on this area back here. This was supposed to be for kids and crafts and stuff, but it's just, I don't know what that is, to be honest. Future entrance to Great Maple, which we'll give you guys an update on in a second. But first, Frozone! Speaking of Great Maple, we'll head outside so we can take a good look at, well, not a lot actually, because Liz is 5'2". I'm gonna have to put this on my list of things to do whenever I have to take a turn at doing recon, which I think is coming up next week. So maybe I can get my hand over there a little bit, but there's the sign, Great Maple Modern American Eatery. I got it wrong last time. Great Maple Modern American Eatery. I'm very much looking forward to trying this out. I love maple.
It. Thank you.
Have I ever told you guys that? Whenever I meet a Canadian and they give me maple stuff to eat, I'm like, thank you. Thank you very much. I love maple. Yeah, so we can't really see anything over that fence, but when we get to the other side, oh, there's a construction worker. I wonder if she's gonna go for it. There's a guy right there. Liz, you gonna go for it? She is. She's going for it. Good job. Ooh, there's a, yeah, it looks like they put some concrete up there. What is I wonder what his function is. Anyway, there you go. Great Maple Restaurant. And that takes us to DCA, which, just like last week, we've only got this to report that Schmoozies is still not open. Current estimate for its reopening is Friday, November 3rd. Oh, and I can report, actually, we do have another closure on the calendar coming up. The Incredicoaster is closing on Monday, November 27th. We don't yet know for how long. It is on the calendar for as long as we can see, which is December 1st. So look for the Incredicoaster to be closed late November. And that's it, you guys. That's our update from the parks this week. I do hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching. We love you guys. Don't forget, you need to be following us on Instagram at _FreshBaked, on X at FreshBakedDisney, that's Fresh with no E, and on TikTok at FreshBakedDisney. And if you like our show and want to show your support, please do consider joining our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/freshbaked. Otherwise, thanks again for watching, everybody. We love you. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. And Fresh Baked